Hi, my name's Cary Pilet, and I'm going to spend about 10 minutes talking about negative consequences. In the world of keeping our children fitting into the family, doing the things that we want them to do, we positively motivate them to do that, and I have another little video that talks about how to do that. Sometimes, though, they're doing things we don't want them to do. And so we have to have some ideas for how we can correct them. When I was growing up, this was called punishment. It doesn't sound very nice, does it? I don't have good thoughts about what that was about either, honestly. I was thinking about this week, and I reflect back to being raised, and I know that my parents had some punishments that they implemented in ways that really were good. Those don't tend to be the ones that we remember, though, are they? The punishments that we remember have to do with the uncomfortableness that occurred when they happened. And a lot of times when we look back, we think maybe they were excessive, and we use terms like they beat me with a belt, or I got spanked, or I was grounded for life. That's another one that was very popular when I was growing up. They took everything away, and I was never going to have the ability to get it back. Okay? Those are the things I too connect with the word punishment. Okay? Not good memories in my mind. Was I out of line? I look back at what I was doing, and yeah, I'll tell you I was out of line. And I look back at how my parents applied punishment and think, my God, they must have been at their wits' end. They got to the bottom of the barrel doing that one. As we now have children, though, we are now in the place where we have to correct behaviors that aren't good, that aren't fitting in, that are not going to allow them to be prosperous in life. Okay? And times have changed. We cannot beat children anymore. Okay? We cannot leave marks. The good news about that is, though, there are other ways to correct behavior without striking a child. There are other ways to do that. And sometimes we haven't thought about them because we never saw it, maybe. Grounding didn't work. Think about how you were punished. And when it was those kinds of things I was talking about, did they have the effect your parents were looking for? Some of us nod our heads, yeah, I stopped, and I got several heads going, nope, it made no difference. So think about that. If it didn't make a difference for you doing that, and that's what you saw or know, do you really think it's going to make a difference with your kids? And you should shake your head the same way, because it's probably not going to work any better for them than it did for you. Okay? So I want to give you some ideas about this idea of negative consequences. Negative consequences we put into place to stop a behavior that we don't want. Okay? So it is it's like a penalty. You can use that term. Think about how sports are. I watch football, and they get penalties when they break the rules, and they get to go back and re-kick it, or they lose a down, or they lose 5 yards, or and man, and that's because I didn't do it right. Your children should have that same, man, that's because I didn't do it right. They should have that same idea. This is happening to me because I didn't do it right, because I did something that I wasn't supposed to do. Okay? We need to do that. When we go back and we think about the qualities of an effective consequence, there are 5 of them, and they all still apply here for negative consequences or punishment too. We have to remove a privilege that's important to the child. We have to make it immediate enough for the child to figure it out. Oh, I don't get to watch TV because I didn't pick up my clothes and make my bed. So they have to connect it to why they're losing what they're losing. Okay? We have to watch the frequency of it. The first time I take something away, if it doesn't connect, it doesn't mean it doesn't work. It means they didn't connect what they're losing with what they did that wasn't acceptable. Okay? When they no longer care about what I'm trying to take away, it's no longer important to them, and I've lost the ability to use it, the frequency of using it. If I overuse one, the same thing happens. If I'm always taking away their iPad, they'll look at you and say, so what, you're going to take my iPad away? I'm overusing that one. I better find something else on my list of things that I can use for them. The fourth was the degree. How much? How much is the penalty going to be for the behavior that they did, for what they did that wasn't good? And then the final one is the contingency. Am I going to allow them to earn it back? Grandma's rule. I'll do this for you if you do this for me. So there's that give and take. And that applies to negative consequences too. Okay? So those qualities of an effective consequence still apply to negative consequences or punishment. So when we look at the types of negative consequences or punishments out there, there are two ways that we can implement these. Okay? One of them is going to be a permanent punishment. A permanent punishment. And the other one is going to be conditional. Okay? A permanent punishment is a penalty that I put into place that I cannot take back. Okay? So I have some examples of those. If I ground you for the rest of the day, I can't take that back tomorrow, can I? You are grounded for the day. If you can't watch TV, for 2 days and the 2 days go by and you haven't watched TV, that's permanent. I can't roll back time. I can't change what has happened back here. That is a permanent consequence. Okay? If I take a toy away. Okay, I have had parents that say when they don't pick up their toys, I put it all into a trash can and I put it out in the trash. That's a permanent consequence if I actually put it out into the trash and the garbage man takes it, isn't it? Look at the eyes. What? Yeah, that's permanent because I can't get it back. Okay? And I wouldn't say this is an appropriate one, if my child breaks their brother's toy and I pick up their favorite toy and break their toy, that's permanent, isn't it? Is it appropriate? We're going to talk about that on a different section. But it certainly is permanent. A broken toy is a broken toy. I may not be able to fix that one, so it becomes permanent. Things like spanking, which I don't advocate. It's not a first-line intervention. I will tell you, you should not get there, is a permanent consequence. I can't take it back, can I? I cannot take back that you got spanked. I cannot take back that you got grounded. These are permanent. Water under the bridge history. That's a permanent consequence. The second consequence is a conditional consequence. And the conditional consequence kind of fits in with that fifth quality of a consequence. There's an ability for the child to earn back the privilege that they have lost. And that's dependent upon what the degree is that I've set and what the requirement will be for them to re-earn it. Okay? So they're going to lose something that's important to them. They're going to lose TV time. They're going to lose time on their iPad or whatever. They're going to lose time on their gaming system. They're going to lose their favorite snack. They lose dessert. Whatever's on your list. Okay? And then there's a but. But if you do this, then you can have it back. And so sometimes when they're little, we'll start with, you can't watch TV. We do Grandma's rule. You can't watch TV until your bed is made. Well, that's a negative consequence, isn't it? Oh, I can't watch TV. How come I can't watch TV, Mom? Because you didn't make your bed. What does it take for them to be able to watch TV? To make their bed. So when will they earn their privilege back? When their bed's made. If they don't make it today, they turned it into a permanent consequence, didn't they? Because they didn't get to watch TV today. They never made their bed. See how this works? Timeouts are another conditional, temporary, conditional negative consequence. Timeouts for children are for the purpose, they're a little bit different than us. We time out to calm down and regain our composure. We time out children who are out of control. Okay? The purpose of a timeout for a child is to calm down as well, but also to recognize what was going on that they needed to calm down from. In my house, when we do a timeout, they have to calm down. They have to understand why they're in timeout, and then they have to fix the problem. So if you're in timeout because you hit your brother, okay, you have to calm down. You have to my child has to recognize they're in timeout for hitting their brother, and then the next thing they have to do to get out of timeout is tell me how they're going to make up what they did, and then do it. And then do it. Oh, I have to apologize to my brother for hitting them. Okay, And if it's the first time, that might be sufficient, right? And if it's the 12th time, there's probably something else there they have to do too, because this is a pattern. It's a behavior that's ongoing that hasn't been corrected yet. Okay? If we take something away, like if we ground our child, okay? We have to be careful about grounding because there again, we kind of get big there, especially when they're older. You're grounded for a week. And we forgot to take into consideration that their best friend's birthday party is on Saturday. And I already told them that they could go to the birthday party. And so now I've grounded them. And what am I going to do about this? I got mouths hanging open now. Holy crap. Did she like follow me around this week? Yeah, sometimes we don't think it the whole way through before we implement something. And so there I'm probably going to put some condition back on, right? You can go to the birthday party on Saturday if. I have to be prepared to cancel the birthday party though, don't I? Yeah, I do. You're going to be grounded for 3 days, the rest of the week. If you do the dishes for all 3 days, for the next 2 days, you won't be grounded on Friday. So I can put work in place to allow them to earn the privilege back sooner than I initially set out. Who's deciding this? I am. I, the parent, am deciding if I'm going to allow them to conditionally regain privilege before what I set out. Okay? So those are the 2 types of ways we implement negative consequences. They can be permanent, they can be conditional, and with conditional, we have to have built in a mechanism for additional something that they're going to do for me for the ability to regain what they lost for their negative behavior. Okay? Thank you for watching. My name is Cary Pilet.